Good morning, this is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
A woman is dead and 2 kids are safe after a shooting at a Sioux Falls apartment Wednesday morning. The suspect is in the hospital with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Officers were first called to the apartment on Willow Avenue around 7:30 in the morning. They say a man fired at officers when they gained partial entry. Officers saved one of the 2 children and called for backup.
When the SWAT team entered the apartment, the suspect shot himself. They rescued the second child and found the woman dead inside. Neighbors Sam Heckman and Jeff Kurtz, who live directly below, say they would hear arguments from time to time, but knew yesterday morning was different.
It all happened really fast in terms of when I heard the knocking, went to the door, had us get out. And in the meantime, it was just kind of like, you're just more worried about what's going on in the actual situation, really hopeful that, because I'd heard, like, it sounded like there had been kids up in that apartment before, so you kind of had an idea of, oh, you kind of know who's in there and you really hope that nothing bad has happened.
Heckman and Kurtz say they heard a loud thump and now believe that was the fatal gunshot. The children were taken to safety and the gunman was taken to the hospital. An 18-year-old Sioux Falls man is behind bars accused of attempted robbery and attempted murder. According to court documents, last Friday, 18-year-old Hamza Hassan were checking car doors in a parking lot on East 10th Street in Sioux Falls. The man spotted the teenager inside his car, so he confronted him.
Following a fight, the victim was trying to leave when court papers say Hassan got out and shot at the victim's car. Hassan now faces several charges, including attempted murder and grand theft. Rapid City Police are investigating an unattended death in Pennington County's Care Campus. The sheriff's office says it happened around 10 o'clock Wednesday morning.
A 31-year-old woman was found unresponsive and life-saving measures were started right away. She was taken to Monument Hospital where she was pronounced dead. Right now there are no signs of trauma or foul play, but an autopsy is scheduled.
Turning to weather now with meteorologist Brian Carstens. A chance of rain or storms across the area today, Brian.
Yeah, some scattered showers and thunderstorms coming back into the picture. Overnight, we ended up with some scattered rain. Watertown area, some parts of the city ending up with about 1/3 of an inch or even a little bit more than that. The airport number only at 400ths, but definitely some streaks of rain around at least. But we sure could use more. And obviously, as the nature has been most of the summer, it's been kind of like that for many of these events. Today, later on, late this afternoon and early this evening, there is a marginal risk of severe weather with a few of those stronger cells that pop up southwest of Yankton and perhaps even getting closer to Sioux Falls. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Highs today, 78 degrees in Winter, 81 in Chamberlain. And again, the concentration of rain will be a little bit better along and east of the James Valley. Well, more details on weather in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Brian. Drivers on the east side of Sioux Falls will soon encounter another roundabout in the city. Construction is expected to be completed later this year on a roundabout at 33rd and Town Circle Place east of Veterans Parkway.
Roundabouts go up on the outskirts of Sioux Falls so drivers don't have to face such heavy traffic while getting used to driving through them. Traffic engineers say roundabouts are a safe alternative to traffic lights at intersections and also a cost saver to the city.
It's kind of a sustainability issue in that you have a lot less maintenance in that on average typically signals, when you figure out the cost of their lifetime, we have about a $5,000 maintenance cost per signal intersection per year.
Traffic engineers also say what crashes do take place within roundabouts are typically much less severe than at intersections with traffic lights. Another roundabout is planned at 95th Street and Western Avenue next year. One Northwest Iowa college has reported record enrollment this year.
This fall, Dordt University welcomed 1,858 students to campus, the most they have ever had. Just over 1,400 of those students are undergraduates who are required to live on campus until they are 22 years old, which helps them meet the new people and build more friendships.
You just have so many people and a lot of like-minded people too, so I think that's just kind of the aspect of Dordt too that builds communities. That a lot of us are Christian and have the same values and stuff, so growing closer as a community with all these new people together is always good.
Officials say over the past 3 to 5 years they have seen a steady growth in students' numbers by 2 to 4% per year at the university. South Dakota beef is on the menu at this week's Sanford International.
Local producers are helping the South Dakota Beef Industry Council grill and serve prime rib sandwiches. They expect to hand out 1,000 sandwiches by tournament's end. The council is also hosting a barbecue competition on Saturday.
We partnered with some of our South Dakota barbecuers that compete all over and have a lot of fun doing it, and we thought, what a better way. We're going to tie them with our ranchers, and we're going to be telling that pasture to plate story and then just kind of having that fun time at the barbecue.
The Contest of Champions barbecue event is set for 6 o'clock Saturday night near the driving range at Minnehaha Country Club.
And that's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, weather it is, and you can see here this morning any of the rain that we've had leading up to this point in the morning, pretty scattered and primarily in the northeast. But the next story to watch, north parts of Nebraska, let's say maybe down toward O'Neill, anywhere just south and west of Yankton. That should be the origin areas of the next chances of showers and thunderstorms. And then that should progress towards Sioux Falls. I would say after 3 for Sioux Falls would be at least getting into a 30% chance of rain. And these cells, while not all of them will be strong, a couple of them could be at that severe limit, at least borderline. So continue to watch for that through 8 o'clock this evening. There's scattered showers and thunderstorms, Watertown to Sioux City. So right along Interstate 29, and then eventually it kind of pushes over into southwest Minnesota as we wrap up the evening. Now, behind that, northwest winds will lead to some cooling tomorrow. I think Aberdeen could be stuck into the 60s much of the day, and we're looking at Sioux Falls, probably closer there to, well, we'll say near 80 in Sioux Falls. And then it does appear right now that western Nebraska, new thunderstorms tomorrow night that could wander into southwest South Dakota. We'll see if that ends up lingering Saturday morning. Saturday's severe weather, more focused in northwest Iowa into southern Minnesota. So there are going to be some storms around. It's not a washout, but it's enough that you got to pay attention to when those things do pop up. 86 today, Sioux Falls, 83 in Mitchell, 73 in Rapid City. We are into the 80s this weekend. Again, we'll maintain those 20 and 30% chances of rain even into Sunday. We can't ignore that. Monday, Tuesday, the debate's still on how to handle this pattern. We're going to see a warm up. We're eventually going to hit some 90s. Then, as we see a stronger front invading the region, at some point, there probably will be some storms, but we have a lot to sort out there. Unfortunately, that part of the forecast, that 5 to 7 day window, is still very up and down. There's been a lot of volatility to that. So we'll lock in on days 1 through 4, these 20 to 40% chances of rain for Aberdeen. We've had rain there this morning in Aberdeen. And again, that chance is there tomorrow, probably more so actually tomorrow night into early Saturday. Pierre would also fit that timeline. I'd watch Friday night in the Black Hills and see if some of those thunderstorms could cross over, at least into parts of central South Dakota. And, well, speaking of the Black Hills, you bet, Friday night, we'd like to go a little better chance of rain there. That does reduce to a 20% chance on Saturday. And then 90 back by Monday. We're not done with those yet. More details online at KELOLAND.com.